DARPA, just hearing the name sounds like something out of a sci-fi thriller, right? But this agency isn't fiction. It's one of the most powerful forces in shaping the future of technology. And when it comes to artificial intelligence, DARPA's fingerprints are everywhere. They've funded groundbreaking research, driven innovation during critical moments, and played a behind-the-scenes role in shaping what AI looks like today. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. What exactly is DARPA? The Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency was created in 1958, right in the heat of the Cold War, after the Soviet Union shocked the world by launching Sputnik. The US government's response? DARPA. Its mission was simple but ambitious: prevent technological surprises by staying ahead of the curve. And when you're trying to outpace the world in technology, you don't just dabble, you invest big. Enter artificial intelligence. By the 1960s and 70s, DARPA was already putting serious funding behind AI research. At this point, artificial intelligence was still mostly an academic dream, a fascinating but abstract pursuit led by brilliant but underfunded researchers. But DARPA had a different vision. It wanted AI to solve real-world problems. They weren't just throwing money at futuristic ideas. They wanted tech that could boost defense capabilities, better data analysis, automated problem solving, and systems that could assist decision-making in unpredictable situations. One of their early success stories, the development of speech understanding systems in the early 1970s. DARPA funded a project called SIR, Speech Understanding Research, which led to the creation of a system capable of understanding more than 1,000 spoken words. Now, that might not sound like much compared to today's virtual assistants, but back then, it was a huge leap. It laid the foundation for everything from Siri to Alexa. DARPA also funded work on autonomous vehicles long before self-driving cars became a buzzword. One of the coolest projects? The Shaky robot. Shaky, developed in the late 1960s, was the first robot that could navigate its environment, plan its movements, and make decisions based on input from its surroundings. Think of it as the great-great-grandparent of today's advanced robots. But here's where it gets interesting. As DARPA pumped funding into AI research, they weren't just advancing the field, they were defining it. Their support wasn't passive, it was strategic. They set clear goals and challenges that pushed researchers to turn ambitious theories into practical innovations. At the same time, though, this focus on practical results came with pressure. The AI winter, a period of stagnation and funding cuts, was partially triggered by DARPA pulling back support when projects didn't deliver fast enough. By the early 1980s, DARPA's interest in expert systems, AI programs designed to mimic human experts in specific fields, was booming. They funded projects that revolutionized areas like diagnostics, logistics, and engineering. One DARPA-funded program developed an expert system that could assist in diagnosing military equipment failure, a tool that saved time, money, and possibly lives. However, DARPA wasn't just about defense contracts and military tools. Many of their funded projects had dual-use applications, meaning they didn't just benefit the military, they transformed civilian life. The work done in natural language processing, image recognition, and robotics eventually filtered down into commercial technologies that now shape our daily experiences. Despite its massive influence, DARPA wasn't immune to setbacks. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, cracks began to show in its AI strategy. The expert systems that DARPA had heavily invested in began to hit their limits. These systems required massive amounts of hand-coded rules and couldn't handle uncertainty or adapt to changing environments. When they worked well. But when they failed, they really failed. And as commercial industries started moving away from expert systems, DARPA faced criticism for backing approaches that weren't scalable. But DARPA, being DARPA, they didn't quit, they pivoted. By the mid-1990s, DARPA's focus shifted towards something new: machine learning and adaptive systems. Instead of relying solely on manually programmed rules, they began funding projects where AI could learn from data and improve on its own. Sound familiar? It's the foundation of today's most powerful AI systems. One standout project from this era was DARPA's involvement in early work on autonomous battlefield vehicles. In 2004, they launched the DARPA Grand Challenge, a wild, high-stakes competition that invited teams to build self-driving cars capable of navigating a 150-mile desert course. The result? A spectacular failure. All the vehicles broke down. But DARPA didn't see failure. They saw feedback. Just 1 year later, they held the competition again, and this time, multiple cars finished the race. That competition didn't just push AI forward, it kick-started the self-driving car industry as we know it. DARPA's Grand Challenge proved something critical. Sometimes the best way to push a field forward is to create a bold challenge and let the world rise to meet it. This approach transformed how we think about innovation. Instead of developing everything in a closed lab, DARPA invited external teams, universities, private companies, and even hobbyists to participate. It blurred the lines between military research and civilian technology, creating ripple effects that are still felt today. Perhaps one of DARPA's most understated contributions is their role in the development of distributed networks. The ARPANET, the precursor to the internet, wasn't directly an AI project, but it transformed AI by creating the infrastructure needed for global data sharing and collaboration. Suddenly, AI researchers weren't isolated. They were connected, sharing ideas and datasets in real time. Without ARPANET, the machine learning explosion of the 2000s might have taken much longer to happen. Today, DARPA continues to push the boundaries of AI research with initiatives like explainable AI, XAI, which aims to make machine learning models more transparent and understandable. In a world where black box algorithms dominate, DARPA is funding research to open that box and help us understand why AI makes the decisions it does. Because accountability in AI isn't just a nice to have, it's essential. Ultimately, DARPA's role in advancing AI isn't just about the technology they've funded, it's about the vision they've championed. They've pushed AI from abstract concepts to real-world impact, from clunky prototypes to life-changing innovations. And they've done it by taking risks, embracing failure, and asking the kinds of questions most of us are too cautious to ask. So when you think about how AI has shaped the modern world, from the voice assistants in our homes to the algorithms that drive autonomous vehicles, remember that behind many of those breakthroughs was DARPA, an agency willing to dream big, bet on the future, and redefine what's possible.